White Hollow. Prologue. It was just past midnight when I pulled off the cracked highway into the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. I'd driven all the way from Virginia with one thing in mind: to explore the infamous forest that locals call White Hollow. The plan was simple: record everything, get some footage, maybe post it later. But halfway through the drive, I realized something that made my stomach sink. I'd left both my phone and my camera back home. The only thing I had was an old flashlight I kept in the glove compartment. I should have turned back, but I didn't. Arrival. By the time I parked on the edge of the dirt path, the clock on my dashboard read 1:03 a.m. There were no houses here, no streetlights, no distant hum of cars. The forest sat on the middle of a vast, empty plain, so if I got lost out here, no one would even hear me scream. Ever since I was a kid, I'd heard legends about White Hollow. They said a woman named Morwenna wanders its depths. The story went that Morwenna was once a midwife in the early 1800s, banished from the nearby town after a string of stillbirths. Locals swore she cursed the land before disappearing into the woods. Some said she drowned herself in the marsh. Others believed she was taken by something older, something that made her less than human, more evil than anything you can think of. In every version of the tale, she comes back, standing in the hollows, just waiting. But for what? The deeper I walked, the more wrong everything felt. No bird song, no rustling leaves, not even the buzz of an insect. Then, some kind of whispers, soft at first, like wind brushing through tall grass. But there was no wind. I swung my flashlight around. The beam cut through thick fog, revealing tree trunks arranged in a perfect, unnatural circle. Right at the center stood a small, decaying house, its wooden frame half collapsed, but with one thing that shouldn't have been there: light coming from inside. Through a grimy window, a curtain swayed, and from behind it, a pale face. Two glowing eyes locked directly onto mine. I froze. Then, from the far side of the house, she stepped into view. A tall, impossibly thin woman, her skin hanging in folds beneath torn black clothing. Her arms dangled far too low, ending in long, hooked fingers like talons. She began to mutter, low, garbled words that didn't sound like any language I knew. The tone was wrong. Part sobbing, part screaming, part rasping like a crow's call. And then she blinked. Every time her eyelids closed, her body seemed to jump closer to me, like reality was skipping forward without my consent. Her head twisted to the side, slow at first, then further, until I heard a sickening crack, like a bundle of sticks snapping. The sound echoed through the circle of trees. Behind me, leaves shifting. Heavy, deliberate steps. I turned. Nothing. When I looked back, Morwenna was gone. Panic hit me hard. I decided to leave, retracing my steps, but the narrow dirt trail I'd come down had vanished. In its place, nothing but a carpet of dead leaves. The forest around me seemed to grow taller, the trunks bending ever so slightly toward me. Shadows darted at the edge of my vision. Every time I whipped my light in their direction, gone. My chest tightened. I couldn't breathe properly. It felt as though invisible hands were pressing in from every side, keeping me from moving too far in any one direction. Then the ground beneath me shifted. Roots, thick, wet and coiled around my ankles. They pulled. I don't remember how, but adrenaline hit me hard enough to rip myself free. I bolted in the first direction that didn't look like a wall of trees. By the time I stopped, my lungs burned. My flashlight beam shook in my hand. I had no idea how far I'd run, or even if I was out of White Hollow. I stood there for a long time, trying to process what had just happened, what I'd seen. Regret settled in fast. I should have had my camera. I should have had proof. Eventually, I made it back to my car. The drive home was silent, my hands gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles ached. I even forgot that I have a radio in my car. Home. Epilogue. At home, I showered, trying to wash away the smell of damp earth. I climbed into bed, exhausted. But every time I closed my eyes, I saw those glowing eyes. I must have drifted off, because the next thing I remember is waking up to a prickling sensation down my spine. The room was dark, the only light coming from the thin slit in the curtains. And then I heard it, a soft, rattling laugh, broken, wet, coming from just behind the curtain.